In this video, we are going to apply the resource tags, pull out the billing data using resource tag, and apply an Azure policy that enforce tag. Alright, I am on the Azure portal right now. Okay, what we can do to apply tags, if you have the resources created, every resource that you open, let's say learn bash is the storage account, you can always find this particular things on every resource called tags. Okay, so what you can do, you can basically go ahead, let's say add a demo tag, and you can say like a value is basically Azure Fundamental, something like that, right? And then just go ahead and apply. That is how you basically add a additional metadata to the resource. Tagging is nothing but that additional metadata, right? If you want to put a kind of like a owner tag, you can just go ahead and put owner tag. And I always prefer to put an email rather than just a name. It's just because of that to whom to contact by email. If you just put the name, then again you have to find it out. You have to find out the email ID or contact details, right, for the person. So rather than just putting the name, you can put the name, not a problem, but you have to have some mechanism where you can capture that kind of data as well as part of the tagging practice, right? So that's basically the individual resource, and if you go to the resource group, we got many resource group. Let's say we pick up this particular resource group, and on the resource group also you can see the tag, same thing, nothing fancy there. You just basically add your key value pair, something like this, and you're done, right? Or you can go to the subscription also. Let's see whether we can go ahead and specify the tag. There you go, you can specify the tag, right? And here also you can say that, okay, demo, and the tag that you want to enforce. You got it. It's very simple, but usual practice is you might do this through your CI/CD pipeline or through the templating and all those things, right? This is something I'm showing you if you're doing something on the portal. All right, this is called tagging. Now this is okay to understand. This is okay that, okay, it's a key value pair, you can put additional metadata to the resources, but what is the real use cases, right? Let's try to go to the cost and billing. Okay, and we already talk about cost analysis, right? So in cost analysis, what you can do, you can basically pull out the data based on the tag. There is a tag, right? And you can basically pull out the data. Maybe I think this guy is taking a time to get that tag updated. Let me refresh. Sometimes you need a refresh as well, because you updated the resource and maybe cost billing did not find that yet, right? So let's go ahead once again and try to group by. Let it pop up. It's taking a time here. There you go, and we select the tag. Okay, I don't see yet. Again, it is reflected, and do we see the things here? Yeah, so I think it takes a time to reflect here, but the idea is in the billing, you can come here and basically, pick up your tag. If you see this message, you get an idea what it says, right? It says showing resource tags from the selected date range. New tags may take a day to show, and some resource type do not include tags in usage data. So yeah, you have to give a day to reflect that particular tag, but once that data is reflected, you can basically just pull out the report for those selected resources only, wherever you applied that tag. That's the intention. And in the real-time use case, it becomes very essential and important, because sometimes what happens, a lot of project team comes forward and say that, okay, they would like to utilize something in the Azure, but there is nothing like a standard onboarding mechanism for the specific team, but they are ready to fund. So you might basically do some kind of the implementation using tagging, and make sure that they have been charged back, pulling out the report based on the tag that you are using, right? That's the mechanism. This is a real use case actually, and that's why tag becomes very important, because you can facilitate, you can build your chargeback mechanism in the organization. Another thing is that let's go to the Azure policy. We said Azure policy, right? You can enforce the tagging as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and check in the definitions what kind of Azure policies that we see related to the tag. Let's do the little filtering, just type tag. Okay, and you can see that there are many popping up. That's the initiative. We're not interested in initiative, we're interested in the definition type policy in this case. So you can take a look, and let me filter out a bit there. See, add a tag to subscription, right? Require a tag on resources. Add a tag to resource group, and require a tag on resource groups. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's try this one. Okay, and what we gonna do, we assign this policy to the subscription. Let's pass on the parameter, and here what we say, cost center, something like this. And let's make sure that this cost center we having rightly spelled later. Okay, we go ahead and enforce this policy. Creating policy assignment succeeded, right, to the subscription. And what is that we're gonna do? We're going to take a look in the assignment section, and we can see that particular policy reflected now in the assignment, right? And what we should try to do, we just go ahead and create a resource group. Okay, for this is something for new resource group. So let's try to create a resource group. I'm calling this one as demo.rg. I'll just call it as demo.rg, and we just select a specific region, and let's try to do what happens. Required information is missing. That is what the message we're getting, right? And that is tag. Policy enforcement value does not meet requirement on the resource demo.rg, and that is a cost center tag, right? This is happening because we enforce the policy saying that now every resource group that will be created within this subscription should have the tag called cost center. That is how you do the enforcement, right? So if I go back here and type cost center, value could be anything. We not checking on the values, right? And now review and create, and that's where the validation pass, right? And you should be in a position to go ahead and create the resource group. That is how tagging works. Now, understanding the tag usage in cost analysis and understanding tagging enforcement through the policy, I think you might have got a solid understanding now how tagging works. All right, that's all pretty much within this video.